CIP Incoterms Explained, a complete guide to shipping with confidence. Welcome back to Sino Shipping, your go-to channel for everything related to international trade and shipping. Today, we're going to talk about the CIP Incoterm, which stands for Carriage and Insurance Paid To. Whether you're a seasoned shipper or just starting your international trade journey, understanding the CIP Incoterm is crucial for successful global transactions. So, let's get started. What is CIP? So, what exactly is the CIP Incoterm? CIP, or Carriage and Insurance Paid To, is one of the 11 Incoterms published by the International Chamber of Commerce, ICC, to simplify and standardize international trade. These Incoterms provide a set of rules that clearly outline the responsibilities of buyers and sellers in cross-border transactions. Under a CIP agreement, the seller is responsible for arranging and paying for transportation and insurance coverage of the goods to a named destination. However, the risk of loss or damage to the goods transfers from the seller to the buyer once the goods have been handed over to the first carrier. Key features of CIP. Now let's take a look at the main features of the CIP Incoterm. 1. Applicable to any mode of transportation, CIP can be used for various modes of transport, including road, rail, sea, or air, as well as multimodal transport. This versatility makes it suitable for a wide range of international shipping scenarios. 2. Seller's responsibilities. Under CIP, the seller is responsible for export packaging, obtaining export licenses, and handling any other export-related requirements. In addition, the seller must contract and pay for the carriage of goods and arrange for insurance coverage to the agreed-upon destination. 3. Buyer's responsibilities. The buyer is responsible for obtaining any necessary import licenses, paying import duties, taxes, and any other charges related to importing the goods. Once the goods have been handed over to the first carrier, the buyer assumes the risk of loss or damage to the goods. Insurance coverage. In a CIP agreement, the seller must obtain and pay for cargo insurance, providing the buyer with a policy that covers the risk of loss or damage to the goods during transit up to the named destination. CIP versus other Incoterms. Now, let's compare CIP to other commonly used Incoterms. CIP versus CPT Carriage Paid To. The primary difference between CIP and CPT is that CIP requires the seller to obtain and pay for cargo insurance, while CPT does not. Both Incoterms can be used for any mode of transportation. CIP versus CIF cost, insurance, and freight. Both CIP and CIF require the seller to provide insurance coverage, but CIF is used exclusively for sea and inland waterway transport, while CIP can be applied to any mode of transportation. CIP versus DAP, delivered at place. The main difference between CIP and DAP is the point at which the buyer assumes the risk. Under CIP, the buyer assumes the risk once the goods have been handed over to the first carrier, while under DAP, the buyer assumes the risk only after the goods have arrived at the named place in the destination country. Pros and cons of CIP. Let's go over the advantages and disadvantages of using the CIP Incoterm. Pros. 1. Versatility. CIP is suitable for any mode of transportation, making it a flexible choice for international shipping. 2. Clear responsibilities. CIP clearly defines the responsibilities of both the buyer and seller, which can help avoid disputes and misunderstandings. 3. Insurance coverage. CIP requires the seller to provide insurance, giving the buyer peace of mind knowing that the goods are covered against loss or damage during transit. Cons. 1. Risk transfer point. The buyer assumes the risk once the goods are handed over to the first carrier, which may not be ideal, especially if the destination is far from the handover point. 2. Insurance cost. The seller is required to purchase insurance coverage, which may increase the overall cost of the transaction. And that's it. Now you have a solid understanding of the CIP Incoterm and how it works in international shipping. Mastering the various Incoterms is essential for anyone involved in global trade, so be sure to check out our other videos to learn about different Incoterms and find the best one for your business needs. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends, and subscribe to our channel for more insightful videos on international trade. If you have any questions or suggestions, leave a comment below, and we'll do our best to help you out. Thanks for watching Sino Shipping, and we'll see you in our next video.